Tonight, Oklahoma decides, and OU Nightly has team coverage. From the most bitter battle for governor in decades.
The only business that is thriving under Governor Stitt's watch is his own.
I know the truth. She's not lying to me. She's lying to you, the public.
To the race for who will represent OU's campus in the State House.
Really about getting that one-to-one endorsement from the voter.
I'm going to be that candidate that fights to protect their life, liberty, and property.
We bring you every angle, covering education.
Critical race theory is an elective that is taught in college.
We don't want kids to have access to pornography in schools.
To abortion.
It is a states' rights issue.
And uncovering what matters most on our campus.
There is such a women's rights issue going on in the state of Oklahoma. They're being threatened.
This is OU Nightly, Election 2022.
Welcome to this OU Nightly special report, our election coverage for the 2022 midterm elections. Good evening, I'm Dame Nasirals.
And I'm Addie Crawford. Polls across the state closed just minutes ago at 7 o'clock on the dot.
But an important reminder, all voters who are in line at 7 p.m. will be able to vote, and we are anxiously awaiting the first results to trickle into the newsroom.
And as we do, let's check in with the watch parties for both candidates for governor. Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi is live at Governor Stitt's election party at the Embassy Suites in Oklahoma City. Dakota?
Yeah, I'm at the Embassy Suites on Northwest Expressway in Oklahoma City. Right now, as you can hear behind me, it's super loud. There's a lot of people. Right now in attendance, Representative Tom Cole, Representative Stephanie Bice, and even Senator James Langford. We've also had Secretary of Education Ryan Walters come through, who Gabriella Tumani will have more about in a little bit. I will definitely be reporting on Kevin Stitt's campaign here, and hopefully in a little bit, I know the polls closed just now, but we'll hear more in a little bit.
Thanks, Dakota. Now let's check in with Cameron Joyner. She's live at Democrat Joy Hoffmeister's watch party in Oklahoma City.
Dana, Addie, we're here at the Oklahoma History Center, which is where Joy Hoffmeister is hosting her watch party as those votes start to roll in tonight. Now, those polls closed just minutes ago, and I know that the anticipation is high in this room, though Hoffmeister has not yet to arrive for those votes to start trickling in. And Hoffmeister split from the Republican Party to run as a Democrat against Kevin Stitt in this election. And there are many things that have separated her from her opponent. Though she calls herself a pro-life in her personal life, she wants to undo some of the things that Kevin Stitt has done during his administration with abortion rights here in Oklahoma, and her tribal endorsement and promise to work with the native tribes here in the state and prioritize education have also set her apart and appealed with her supporters. And I know everyone has their eye on this race and these results tonight, so stay tuned and I'll have more for you on Hoffmeister's race coming up.
Now we're going to take a look at the state superintendent race between Ryan Walters and Gina Nelson. OU Nightly's Olivia Daig is live at the Democrat Watch Party with more on Gina Nelson.
Guys, I'm at the Gina Nelson State Superintendent Watch Party where the polls have closed. We're getting those numbers in, but we don't know anything yet. Gina Nelson has not made an appearance yet. Some issues that she's concerned about is increasing teacher pay, helping rural schools, and improving mental health for students. She opposes school vouchers, and she is endorsed by Joy Hoffmeister. That's all from me. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Olivia. Now let's check in with OU Nightly's Gabriella Tumani, who is covering Republican candidate Ryan Walters. She is live at the Republican Watch Party. Gabriella?
Thanks, Dana. Yes, I'm here at the Embassy Suites in Northwest Expressway, Oklahoma City, where Governor Kevin Stitt's election party is taking place. We can see here a lot of Republican candidates, including Republican incumbent Tom Cole. We also saw Congresswoman Stephanie Bice, as well as Senator James Langford. We were able to talk to Republican incumbent Tom Cole, and we just saw Ryan Walters entering the room, and we're still going to be updating you guys more about the upcoming election results. Just a reminder, election polls have closed at 7 p.m., so you're not able to vote anymore. We'll keep you updated as soon as we have more information about the upcoming election results. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabriella, and thank you guys for joining us for OU Nightly for this special election coverage.
We'll be back with you again at 7:30 on Facebook and Cox Cable.
Now we're going to take a short break, but plenty more team coverage on the way.
Still to come, the fight for Senator Jim Inhofe's seat, House District races, and results later on. Stick around. Thank you for joining us for this OU Nightly election update.
Let's check in on the Oklahoma governor's race that we are getting the first numbers in on this race.
As of now, Joy Hoffmeister is in the lead by 7 points. She's at 52%, and Governor Kevin Stitt is at 45%.
Now note, numbers are still coming in, and these results can change. We'll keep you updated as we get new numbers. And although we haven't gotten numbers yet, Associated Press has projected both Republicans to win Oklahoma's 2 U.S. Senate seats. As of now, Senator James Lankford is likely to win his re-election, and Oklahoma Congressman Markwayne Mullin likely to take Senator Jim Inhofe's vacant seat.
And with that news, let's get a reaction from Democratic candidate Kendra Horn's watch party. OU Nightly's Amaya Ward is at the Jones Assembly in Oklahoma City. Amaya?
Yes, Addie and Dana, I'm here at the Jones Assembly in Oklahoma City for U.S. Senate candidate Kendra Horn's watch party. Horn is a Democrat running against Republican Markwayne Mullin. Now, like you guys mentioned, the AP has already counted this race as solid for the Republican side. However, Horn remains confident in her campaign. I'll be sticking around to bring you guys more updates. Reporting live from Oklahoma City, Amaya Ward.
And we have the latest numbers on the race for state superintendent. As of now, Gina Nelson is in the lead by 7 points. The numbers are still coming in, and we will keep you updated as we receive updates.
Heading down to Texas, we have an update on the governor's race. OU Nightly reporter Bailey Coyle is in the newsroom with those numbers.
Thanks. We have an update on the Texas governor race. The polls closed about 30 minutes ago, so the race is too early to call. But right now, Democrat Beto O'Rourke is leading those polls with 53%, and the incumbent governor Greg Abbott is trailing with 46%. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Bailey, for that update, and thank you guys for joining OU Nightly for this special election coverage.
We'll be back with you again at 8 o'clock on Facebook and Cox Cable. See you then. Thank you for sticking with us.
We have new numbers for the Oklahoma State governor's race.
The numbers are quickly rolling in for Oklahoma's governor. The state election board says 35% of all precincts are reporting tonight.
Incumbent Governor Kevin Stitt has taken the lead from Democratic candidate Joy Hoffmeister. Stitt is over 10 points ahead of Hoffmeister. And with that news, let's check in with OU Nightly's Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi at Governor Stitt's watch party to tell us more what the mood is like. Dakota?
Yeah, right now inside this Embassy Suites, it's super loud. There's a lot of people. They were really excited after Senator Lankford won. They weren't really shocked by that, but it was super loud and they were very proud. Now, right now, Governor Stitt is in the lead with 25% of the precincts reporting. So hopefully in a little bit, we'll get a little bit more information for you, and whenever he comes out, we'll get that for you. Reporting from the Embassy Suites, Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dakota. And now let's check in with Joy Hoffmeister's watch party. OU Nightly's Cameron Joyner is there. Cameron?
Yeah, guys, Joy Hoffmeister supporters are still here. They're still anxiously awaiting those numbers to keep coming in and for those results to eventually be called. You can see behind me people are hanging out, eating, drinking, just chatting and waiting for those results to come in. This crowd stretches all the way around the room to back behind our camera over here. Hoffmeister has still yet to arrive. I've spoken with her campaign team. She is off-site, enjoying this time with her family and her friends. She will make an appearance later. That time is still undetermined. But as of right now, this room is just anxiously awaiting those results to continue to roll in and keeping a close eye on those numbers as they're being reported. Reporting from the Oklahoma History Center, Cameron Joyner.
Thank you, Cameron. Looking at the numbers on the race for state superintendent, here's the latest.
As of now, Ryan Walters is leading with 55%.
Gina Nelson is trailing with 45%.
Numbers are still coming in, and we'll continue bringing you updates as we receive them.
And as we told you earlier tonight, the Associated Press is predicting both of Oklahoma's Senate races will go to Republicans. James Langford is projected to keep his seat, again according to the Associated Press.
The AP is also projecting that Markwayne Mullin will win the race. And now an update on Oklahoma's 4th district in the United States House. Incumbent Representative Tom Cole holds a steady lead over Democratic challenger Mary Brannon. With 29% of the vote reporting, Representative Cole is optimistic about his party's results in tonight's races.
I think Republicans are going to have a very good night in Oklahoma at the state level. I think we'll win every statewide off. Federally, it's an unusual election. We don't usually have 2 United States Senate candidates on the ballot at the same time, but I think James Langford will win re-election easily. I think Markwayne Mullin will take the open seat pretty easily. And then
we have another update on the Texas governor race. Let's head over to the newsroom. OU Nightly's Bailey Coyle is live with the latest numbers. Bailey?
Yeah, incumbent Governor Greg Abbott is now leading the Texas governor race by 4 points. Abbott is currently at 42% of the votes, and Beto O'Rourke is trailing with 46.6% of the votes. Dana, Addie, back to you.
Thank you, Bailey, and thank you guys for sticking with us.
We'll be back at 8:30 live on Facebook and Cox Cable. Welcome back to OU Nightly's special election coverage.
Over 69% of the votes are in for the state of Oklahoma, and incumbent Governor Kevin Stitt's lead is growing. Democratic opponent Joy Hoffmeister is behind Stitt by more than 16%.
Votes are being tallied for the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and it is neck and neck. Let's go back to Olivia Daig to give us an update at Gina Nelson's watch party.
Addie, I'm at the Embassy Suites in OKC, and while we still haven't received an appearance from Gina Nelson, her campaign manager tells me that she's watching with her family and will make an appearance later tonight. That hasn't stopped people from having a good time here. They're eating, drinking, talking, passing out stickers, and whenever we are watching right now currently the News 9 feed, and whenever Gina's name came on the screen, the whole room erupted into cheers, so there is definitely some positive energy in this room ahead of a very tight race. Reporting in Oklahoma City, Olivia Daig, OU Nightly.
OU Nightly's Gabriella Tumani is at Ryan Walters' watch party live with candidate Walters. Gabriella?
Thanks for sticking up with us here at OU Nightly for a special election coverage. We're here live from Oklahoma City at Governor Kevin Stitt's election watch party. I'm here with Republican candidate Ryan Walters, who's running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction against Democratic candidate Gina Nelson. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time to talk to us today. I just wanted you to talk to me a little about how you're feeling tonight. How do you feel seeing all these voters here supporting you and seeing that the numbers are really showing that, you know, you're ahead of Gina Nelson? Just talk to me a little about how you feel.
Yeah, you know, this is a red wave. This is Oklahomans stating they don't want Joe Biden's agenda in the state of Oklahoma. So this is a rejection of what the president has pushed into the state, what the radical left has been pushing into our state, and we've seen it all over the state as I've campaigned. Voters do not want that radical agenda in our state, and so you're seeing that tonight. It's a red wave.
And what do you think are some of the most pressuring issues that Oklahomans are, you know, thinking about right now? And why do you feel like you're the best candidate, specifically, you know, in education? Because this is one of your main points. Why do you think you're the best candidate to address those issues?
Yeah, they see the curriculum that's coming into the classrooms. You have sex education, you have transgender education that's being pushed into the classrooms at early ages. You have critical race theory and these divisive concepts instead of a focus on the basics. And they see this as radicalism. This is stuff that is not in line with Oklahoma values instead of the focus on the basics. And so Oklahomans don't want that. What they want is a focus on the basics so every kid can be successful. But this is what the Biden administration continues to push into our schools.
And saying you win and Joy Hoffmeister wins, what is the best way that you think you're going to be able to, you know, just like run this state with Joy Hoffmeister, talking specifically about education?
Yeah, I don't Joy Hoffmeister's not winning. The governor and I are going to win this election tonight. It's going to be a strong mandate from the people of Oklahoma that they want conservative leadership in the state.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to tell Oklahoma voters?
No, I mean, this is a red wave election, and we've been saying it. We've said that we've heard it every day. Voters in Oklahoma do not want Joe Biden's vision in our state, and this election tonight is really showing this is what Oklahomans want, and so we're going to continue to bring that to them.
Incredible, Kennedy. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Gabriella. And taking a look at the Oklahoma House of Representatives polls, District 44 polls are showing Democrat Jared Deck is ahead of Republican R.J. Harris at 73.1%. District 45 is much closer, with Democrat Annie Menz leading over Republican Teresa Sterling at 55.4%. And for District 46, Jacob Rosenkrantz is ahead of Kendra Wesson at 56.6%.
Now we have OU Nightly's Jaden Brandon on Campus Corner, where the Cleveland County Democrats for State House are watching the results. Jaden?
That's right, guys. I am here on Campus Corner at Blackbird Gastro Pub, where Norman House District candidates, all three of them for 44, 45, and 46, are here having a conjoined watch party. And it's starting to die down a little bit behind me, but for the most part tonight, it was a pretty packed house. There's been lots of cheering as they've seen blue states roll in, lots of numbers, and they're very happy to see the blue on the screen. We haven't gotten any results for our three candidates yet. We have Jacob Rosenkrantz, Jared Deck, and Annie Menz. All three of them are here. They're mingling with their supporters, and it has been a pretty good crowd for them tonight. They're still here. There's plenty of food, drinks, mingling going on. People are starting to roll out a little bit, but we're still waiting on those results. So we'll be back with those as soon as we get them. Back to y'all.
Thank you, Jaden. And so we've looked at the state. We're going to take a break from Oklahoma, and we're going to go to national. Coy Taylor is in the newsroom with more. Coy?
Yes, Addie, we are continuing to watch the national picture, how it shapes up for Congress, the House, the U.S. House of Representatives, and the Senate race. Right now, we can project some governor's races. First, let's take a look at the Florida governor's race. Ron DeSantis against former Governor Charlie Crist. We can project Ron DeSantis to be the winner in that race, and he looks ahead to possibly a 2024 presidential bid for the Republican nomination against possibly former President Donald Trump. That will be well down the line. Let's focus on the midterm elections first. Now let's take a look at another governor's race a little closer here to home, up north in Kansas, just north of the Oklahoma border. Right now, Democrat Laura Kelly, the incumbent governor in Kansas right now, leading against Attorney General Derek Schmidt. He's a Republican candidate, and Laura Kelly won re-election back with the blue wave of the 2018 midterms, or won her first term. She's hoping to be re-elected to the governor's mansion there in Kansas. She's got a comfortable lead right now as we go, and let's move on to Virginia's 2nd congressional district. Here, incumbent Elaine Luria, you might remember her or seen her on the January 6th committee hearings. She's facing off against Jen Kiggins. Right now, Kiggins, what would be with 56% of the vote compared to Luria's 44% of the vote, and both are veterans in this race in Southeast Virginia, is where the Virginia 2nd District covers. And now let's change our picture to the Senate. We have our Pennsylvania Senate race. Democrat John Fetterman, the current Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, in the lead right now, 65% of the vote to about 33% for television Dr. Mehmet Oz. And that race is going to come down to the wire, only about 13% of the vote in, and we're expecting that to last throughout the night and not know a winner in that race here over the next couple of hours as they count the vote in Pennsylvania. And let's move to Georgia, what would be Senate race there between a current senator who won a special election last year, Raphael Warnock, with 51% of the vote compared to Herschel Walker's 47% of the vote. He's a Georgia football star, won the Heisman Trophy back in the day. But the interesting thing about the Georgia Senate, if no candidate reaches above a majority vote, 50%, that heads into a runoff on December 2nd. Not what Georgians want. Georgians are tired of seeing the political ads on TV. And then let's check the Senate balance of power at this hour. These are projected races from the AP. Coming into the night, Democrats held on to about 36 seats, to Republicans about 30 to 29 seats, and right now it sits at about 41 seats for the Democrats and 40 seats for the Republicans. Still a lot more races to go. Polls still open in the western half of the U.S., California, Washington, up the West Coast, even Alaska and Hawaii. We'll be watching those races here over the next couple of hours. Addie?
Thanks, Coy. And now an update on the U.S. House races across the state of Oklahoma. The Associated Press has now projected incumbent Representative Tom Cole to retain his seat in the U.S. House. He'll spend another 2-year term representing Oklahomans in District 4.
And now on to District 2. Josh Breking is projected to take control of the seat left vacant by Mark Wayne Mullen. He will spend the next 2 years representing Eastern Oklahomans in the United States House.
And the Associated Press is now projecting the results in the race for District 3. Incumbent Republican Frank Lucas will retain his seat as well and will be re-elected to a 16th term in the United States House. Thank you for joining us for this OU Nightly Election Night update. We'll be back with another update at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and on that update at 9 o'clock, we'll be live on Cox Cable and Facebook Live. We'll see you then.
Welcome back to OU Nightly's special election coverage.
We begin with updated numbers for the race for Oklahoma's governor. 85% of the votes are in for the state of Oklahoma. We want to give you an update on where those numbers are standing.
Governor Kevin Stitt retains his lead over Democrat Joy Hoffmeister. He is still 16 points ahead of Hoffmeister. And with that update, let's check in with OU Nightly's Dakota McDowell Wapakichi at Governor Stitt's watch party in Oklahoma City. Dakota?
Well, right now inside the NBC Suites Hotel, it's gotten a lot louder. Kevin Stitt's campaign managers just came by a little bit ago, and we talked about how NBC News actually reported that Governor Kevin Stitt won his re-election, but not everybody has said that just yet. Right now, the Oklahoma County numbers are still coming in, whereas the rest of the state has pretty much, a majority of it has been reported. About 10 minutes ago, Oklahoma County was about 50% reported, but just about a minute ago, it was at 85% of the precincts reported. It's a really close race right now with that county, but a lot of the numbers are going toward Kevin Stitt's way. If Kevin Stitt hits the stage anytime soon, we'll bring that to you. Reporting from the NBC Suites in Oklahoma City, Dakota McDowell Kichi, OU Nightly.
Thank you for that, Dakota. Now let's go back to Cameron Joyner, who is live at Joy Hoffmeister's watch party. Cameron?
Yeah, guys, out here at the Oklahoma History Center, the vibe is still bustling and people are still hanging out and talking despite Kevin Stitt being squarely in the lead at the moment. With the way that the polls are looking right now, those votes are still coming in, and the voters that I've talked to and the supporters here say that it's not over until it's over, and that seems to be the general consensus here, although her campaign team has paused interviews at the moment, and it seems like most of them have cleared out of the room. All of the supporters are still here, as you can see behind me. Everyone is still here watching in anticipation for those votes to continue rolling in. We did get word that Joy Hoffmeister is on her way here now. We will be staying and we will be bringing coverage of the speech that she gives and how she's feeling about the way that these numbers are rolling in. And like these voters said, it isn't over till it's over, so we will continue to bring these numbers to you. Reporting live from the Oklahoma History Center, Cameron Joyner, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Cameron. Now let's check in with OU Nightly's Coy Taylor. He is live again in the newsroom with national updates. Coy?
Thanks, Addie. We are watching some key races across the U.S. right now at this hour that's going to decide the balance of power in the Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives. But first, we'll start off with some governor's races. The Kansas governor's race, let's get a look at that. Our neighbors to the north here in Oklahoma, and Democrat Laura Kelly still holding on to a lead there with 60% of the vote for her over what would be current Attorney General of the state of Kansas, Derek Schmidt. He's about 38% of the votes. And let's move on to some what would be congressional races. First, the Virginia 2nd District. Here we have incumbent Lane Loria in what would be the seat there against what would be challenger Jen Kiggins. Kiggins leading with about 55% of the votes tallied so far to Lane Loria's 45%. And this is a key race, kind of the bellwether district in eastern Virginia, including Norfolk, where we have a naval base, U.S. naval base there, and Loria, the incumbent, served on the January 6th committee. So this is kind of a bellwether district, and if this district turns Republican, this looks like a pickup for the Republicans, and it looks like we could be riding a little bit of a red wave as we go throughout the evening, but this race still too close to call as we head past the, what would be 9 p.m. hour here in the Central Time Zone. Let's move on to some key Senate races. We jump up to New Hampshire. Right now, incumbent Maggie Hassan will be served as governor before winning election in 2016 to Senate. She's up for re-election this year, and right now a slim lead, about 56% of the vote going to her, to Don Bolduc, a Army veteran, I should say. 42% of the vote for him will be Republicans. Saw this race as some building momentum in the final weeks as polls tightened. Maggie Hassan and the Democrats hoping to hold on to this seat and hold on to at least some control of the U.S. Senate as we go. So we move to Pennsylvania. This seat, no incumbent in this race, but we are monitoring John Fetterman, the current lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, has a slim lead, 53% of the vote to him, a little bit under 1 million votes for him, to 44% for television Dr. Mehmet Oz. And this race, no incumbent in the race because the senator for this race is retiring, Pat Toomey, calling it quits, a Republican. So if the Democrats can pick up this, they have some options open for at least keeping control of the Senate. And we move to Georgia. This seat, Democrats didn't look so good in the final weeks, but Republicans saw momentum in Georgia, and they are writing that right now. Herschel Walker, with the tally votes that we have counted, with just under 50%. And reminder, the Georgia Senate race, and if no candidate reaches above that majority 50% mark, I should say, then this heads to a runoff on December 2nd, which is close to the SEC championship game. So many Georgians, if they're watching the Georgia Bulldogs, who look like they are going to win the East, the SEC East, headed to that SEC championship game, could be flooded with some more political ads, just what they want down there in Georgia. And let's take a final look at the Senate balance of power map, as we've had some what would be key polling, or key states closing their polls on the West Coast here over the next couple of hours, but still polling opening in California as well as Hawaii. Democrats still hold a slight majority, but still a lot of seats to call, as we do have open polls in the West and still some races on the East Coast too close to call. That's the latest from right here in the newsroom. Let's send it back to the studio. Addie?
Thanks, Coy. We have the latest numbers for the candidates running for the United States Senate seats in Oklahoma.
Incumbent Republican James Lankford is projected to retain his seat in the U.S. Senate. He is currently leading challenger Madison Horn by 35 points.
And Mark Wayne Mullen is projected to take over retiring Senator Jim Inhofe's seat in the U.S. Senate. He currently leads Democratic opponent Kendra Horn by nearly 30 points.
And now we're going to check in over at Jaden Brannon. She is with the Democratic candidates for Oklahoma State House here in Norman, live at Blackbird on Campus Corner. Jaden, what can you tell us that's going on out there?
That's right, guys. I'm still here at Blackbird on Campus Corner. Spirits are high. I've gotten to talk to some of the supporters that have ended up here, and they say that they were cautiously optimistic, and many of them were right to do so. We just found out that all three House District candidates, Jacob Rosecrans, Annie Mins, and Jared Deck, have all won their elections. Each just gave their speech, and they are so appreciative of all the support that they've had from volunteers, family, and so on. Spirits continue to be high in the room, and there's still a party going on. They're just still mingling with their supporters and just having a great rest of their night. People are they're starting to leave as they still see some election results coming in from across the state and across the country that don't seem to be the results that they wish for, but they're still satisfied with what they saw here tonight at Blackbird. Reporting live from Campus Corner, Jaden Brannon, OU Nightly.
Now let's take one last look at the latest numbers for the state superintendent race.
87% of the votes are with Ryan Walters, leading with 58%. He is currently 16 points ahead of Gina Nelson. OU Nightly's Olivia Daig is at Gina Nelson's watch party. Let's check back in with her to see what the mood is like. Olivia?
Guys, the vibe in here is still very positive as the crowd has thinned out just a little bit. They've pumped the music back up in here, trying to keep spirits high in the wake of these poll numbers coming in, seeing Nelson in the
not leading, excuse me. We were able to speak to Nelson's campaign manager, who says if she wins, she's going to hit the ground running tomorrow. If she doesn't win, he said he can't speak for her, but he imagines she'll still want to fight for Oklahoma teachers and students in the education field. Reporting live from OKC, Olivia Daig, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Olivia. And now let's go right to the newsroom with Bailey Coyle, who has an update on our Texas governor's race. Bailey?
Thanks, Dana. I have the governor poll race update. The current Governor Stitt, is currently in the lead with 55% of the votes, with Beto O'Rourke following with 45% of those votes. Back to you.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight for the special election coverage.
We're broadcasting live from Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you have a good night.